I'm joined now by Scarlett Maguire, a former media advisor to the Labour Party, and communications expert Robert Taylor, who's media trained many politicians. Scarlett, first, just your reaction to that maybe he'd use a bit of rehashed speech from Ed Miliband that wasn't used 3 years ago.
Well, I mean, it's the first I've heard of it. And I think I agree with Andy Bell that we know speeches are written by all sorts of people. There's no way that Jeremy Corbyn wrote that whole speech. I mean, of course, other people added to it. And what's so interesting about the speech and the John McDonnell speech yesterday is how close they were to Ed. I mean, this is an evolution, not a revolution.
Okay.
So actually, it makes sense.
Robert, what do you think of the way he delivered his speech today? Good oratory, good leadership?
I think he really showed that he can present. He had lovely, deft touches. He was self-deprecating. He reached out to the conference, and that's the most important thing. He didn't reach out to the country. He reached out to his party. And I think he did that really, really well. And what he showed, I think, is that he wants to unite Labour. He sees that as his aspiration. Being Prime Minister, that's a different matter. I don't think he cares about that.
Talked about kind of politics, and we'll discuss that more in a moment, because you've both picked out a couple of examples from the speech that you'd like to talk about in more depth. Scarlett, you've picked out foreign policy. Let's have a look at this first.
Intervene now, personally, with the Saudi Arabian regime to stop the beheading and crucifixion of Ali Mohammed al-Nimer, who is threatened with the death penalty for taking part in a demonstration at the age of 17.
Why did you pick that out, Scarlett?
Because this was an ask of David Cameron. This was an absolute immediate, this is the difference between you and me. I would go to the Saudis and do something. Are you going to do it too? It's about one person.
Is it really that pressing? I appreciate it's a desperate situation for that individual, but he didn't mention the deficit, he didn't mention the EU referendum, he didn't mention immigration either.
Well, I mean, I think as far as the deficit was concerned, we had John McDonnell yesterday, and we had quite enough of it. For immigration, he's not interested in immigration. He talked about refugees, and we know that as far as he's concerned about the EU, that I mean, he did actually talk about that. What you have to do is that if David Cameron is trying to negotiate away workers' rights,
yes,
and he says that's what we shouldn't be doing.
Okay. Robert, you picked out a bit where, well, despite him saying he wanted kind of politics and he was a bit self-effacing, he actually did get a bit angry. Let's have a look.
The Tories talk about economic and family security being at risk from us, the Labour Party, and perhaps even more particularly from me. I say this to them: how dare these people talk about security for families for families and people in Britain? Where's the security for families shuttled around from one private rented sector flat to another on 6 months tenancies, with children endlessly having to change schools?
They're still fired up there, Robert.
Anger doesn't appeal to people. If you want to win people over, the key is to empathise with them. And there is a stark contrast. When he tried to empathise with his opponents within the Labour Party over Trident, he reached out to them almost physically. With his tone of voice, he was very empathetic. He said, "This is what I believe. You might believe differently, but this is what I believe." But when it came to the Tories, when it came to the voters that he has to reach out to win the next general election, forget it. He was talking about vandalising the NHS, Tory lies. He called David Cameron Cameron. He talked about Tory gerrymandering. This isn't the language to use if you're reaching out to the country.
Thank you both very much indeed for your analysis of that.